This is the new Vivo V23 Pro, which has a couple of really unique features. First up, it has the notch, but this notch has two high-quality selfie cameras. So the main camera is a new rear-worthy high-resolution 50-megapixel f2.0 sensor with eye autofocus support, and there's also an 8-megapixel ultra-wide-angle lens here. Plus, the Vivo V23 Pro has these around the cameras hidden in the thin bezel. Yeah, the dual spotlight LEDs. Now, this dual spotlight feature was present in the V21 too, but how well does the new 50-megapixel sensor combined with this dual spotlight work? Look, first of all, the light from these dual LEDs is brighter than it looks in the videos, and you can change the hue of the light to make sure you have the best lighting on the face. There's default, there's warm yellow, which I prefer the most because it looks the most natural, and there's a cool white hue. Now, it's interesting how the camera quickly shifts white balance for these different lights. Now, coming to the big question, gimmicks versus reality. So I took a lot of selfies from the Vivo V23 Pro, and I also compared it with the iPhone 13 Pro, which I'll get to in a bit. And you know what? The new 50-megapixel sensor plus the dual LED spotlight make a pretty good impact. Let me show you. So here's a selfie I took in a super dark area without the spotlights. You can barely see my face. Now look at the photo with the spotlights turned on. That's a big difference. I mean, you can even see a lot of good detail on the face. Now this was the cool white hue, but I also took the photo in the default mode, and I also took the photo in the warm yellow tone. Here's another example. Here's the photo without the spotlight, and again you can see how dark it is. Now check this out. Yeah, the spotlight makes a huge difference. It instantly makes the face a lot better, and the 50-megapixel sensor captures the details, the sharpness of the face very well. Now here's one more example. This is a selfie I took in the car with spotlight off, and it's kind of darkish, not totally dark, but look at the photo with spotlights turned on. See the difference? So yeah, this does make a pretty good impact, and like I said, I compared the selfies from the Vivo V23 Pro against the selfies of the iPhone 13 Pro in low light, and the results were actually kind of fascinating. First of all, let me make it clear that the iPhone turns on the night mode automatically, otherwise it takes photos like this. Yeah, that's dark. Now here's the same photo from the Vivo V23 Pro with spotlights on and the iPhone 13 Pro with night mode on auto. Now you remember I said fascinating? This is why. The iPhone has brightened things up, but it's all washed up details. Looks like a color painting, to be honest. The V23 Pro's photo looks way better. It's sharp, more detailed on the face, hair, and it has way less noise. Hit like if you're not expecting this. Here's another comparison, and to be honest, the iPhone does well when there's some light to absorb, but if we zoom in a little bit, you'll see what a big difference there is in terms of sharpness and details. See, I've taken a lot of these comparison selfies, and there are times when the iPhone 13 Pro gets the surrounding brighter with the night mode turned on, but it's all mostly blurry and full of noise. The V23 Pro focuses on the face, and it does a way better job of keeping the face well lit and sharp, which is very important. The dual LED spotlights also work while shooting videos, so here's a comparison video with the iPhone. Now you kind of instantly know which is better, right? I mean, both of them are dark, but at least you can see my face properly in the V23 Pro's video. The iPhone's video is also full of noise, especially in the background, so yeah, the V23 Pro actually does well here. Now one thing to note, the dual spotlight LED feature works in apps like WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, Messenger, but it only works when taking a photo, not in video calls. I mean, video calls with this spotlight feature would have been nice, right? So I'm hoping Vivo brings this support in the future iterations of this feature. Anyway, the point is I did not use the Vivo V21 and I'm not sure how well it worked, but the Vivo V23 selfie camera along with the dual LED spotlight is something I can see being very useful. I mean, anyone who takes a lot of selfies or does a bit of vlogging will find the selfie cameras here very useful, especially because there's also an ultra wide angle camera on the front, which seems good in my brief testing. And it has all the camera features you need, be it eye autofocus, 4K HDR video recording, and some really cool portrait mode styles. Anyway, if you look at the Vivo V23 Pro, apart from all of these selfie camera features, this also seems like a pretty well-balanced all-round smartphone. First of all, this is the first smartphone in India to feature a color-changing glass. Now this is Vivo's color-changing fluorite AG glass. So it looks mostly gold indoors, but when there's sunlight or any other artificial light with UV rays, it changes color to this blue and green gradient, like this. Now some people will like this and some people will be like, this is not a big deal. So yeah, it's very subjective, but one thing's for sure, this is something new, something unique. Also, I think this is a very premium design. The glass back has this soft touch matte finish which feels very premium, and the V23 Pro comes in a black variant in the same matte finish, which is something a lot of people will like. This is also a pretty sleek and lightweight phone at 7.3mm thickness and a weight of 173 grams. Then there's the display, a 90Hz FHD Plus curved AMOLED panel that's bright and vibrant. I mean, sure, I would have liked a 120Hz panel, but this is a good quality AMOLED that Vivo has used, so not complaining a lot here. The phone also brings high-end specs on board. There's Dimensity 1200, which as we all know is a fairly powerful chipset. There's up to 12GB LPDDR4X RAM and up to 256 gigs of UFS 3.1 storage. So the specs are great, and in my usage so far, the V23 Pro feels like a good, smooth phone. I mean, there's no lag anywhere, and even the gaming performance is what you would expect from a Dimensity 1200 phone. All in all, I've only used the phone for a while, I'll just clear that out, but I'm positive about the performance here. Now when it comes to the software, there's new FunTouch OS 12 based on Android 12, which does have its improvements. I noticed lesser Vivo apps and the lock screen poster feature is gone. Now there are these pre-installed apps, but they can be uninstalled, so yeah, good. The rear cameras of the V23 Pro are also packed just like on the front. A 108MP main camera, an 8MP ultra wide angle camera and a 2MP macro lens. Now I've always found Vivo phones to have good, well optimized cameras, and this too seems the same. The photos from the 108MP sensor have very punchy colors, very good contrast and sharpness, be it in daytime or even low light. Plus there are all the features too, 4K 60fps video recording support, different portrait mode styles including bokeh flare effects that let you change the bokeh to hearts, stars and more, and there's also stabilization modes and more. Moving on, the Vivo V23 Pro has a 4300 mAh battery with 44W flash charge, and the battery charging is something I'm still testing out, so no judgments right now. Lastly, this is a 5G phone, and if you're wondering about the 5G bands, there are 7 bands in the Vivo V23 Pro. Overall, you know what? There are two types of phones. Phones that are full of gimmicky features but are not good. Phones that are actually very good but they don't have anything unique or special. Now, I think the Vivo V23 Pro is kind of the right mix of both. I mean, this is a phone that brings a good balance of unique features and specs. Say what you will, the new 50MP selfie camera with the spotlights do make a big difference, like you saw. The design is sleek and nice, and all of the other specs seem good all around. So I will be testing things out more, but so far the Vivo V23 Pro does seem like a good all-round smartphone. But yeah, I want to know your thoughts on the V23 Pro. Now I will be adding the official price of the Vivo V23 Pro below, so make sure to let us know in the comments your thoughts on the phone. Also give this video a like, make sure to share it and subscribe to our channel for more amazing tech videos. Well, that's me signing off. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
Did you know that this button can save your life?